30 typical communication blocks, a self-assessment worksheet. Lesson 2.8. Lesson 2 of 7, learn to communicate effectively from the website practice cycle. As always, the link is down below. Skipping the first several paragraphs. Many things that can degrade inner and interpersonal communications. Most come from psychological wounds, ignorance, and unconscious habits. All can be improved using the 7 lesson 2 skills if your true self guides your personality. So for that you need to do lesson 1, okay? Use this worksheet to spot any significant blocks you and other or more partners have, so you can reduce them together. Avoid using this worksheet to blame or shame yourself or another. Premises. Show how these beliefs compare to yours. These universal communication blocks are inherent psychological wounds that you should know them by heart and fix them yourself using your masculine and feminine energy, and for that you should do lesson 1, okay? Ignorance and communication basics, an awareness of why and how you are communicating. Progress on lesson 1 and lesson 2 can improve each other on these over times. Communication blocks can occur between personality subselves, internal blocks, and between people, interpersonal blocks. So ineffective communication can be caused by blocks inside of me, inside of you, between us. A useful habit to build is intentionally identifying and reducing your inner conflicts before tackling significant problems with another person or with other people. Do you do what is your key relationship now? Do you do what in your key relationships now? Do your kids know how to and when to do this yet? The greater your influence in the skill of process awareness, the easier it will be for you to spot these blocks as they occur. The other 6 skills will help you to reduce and avoid the blocks if your true self guides you. Directions. Print this article, then make 30 minutes of undistracted time and fill it out thoughtfully for yourself and optionally another important adult or child. The worksheet focuses on communication between any two people. The blocks also apply to 2 or more personality subselves. 30 typical communication blocks. Me, you, check if applicable. Someone receives a verbal or non-verbal respect messages. They decode, I don't respect you as an equal here. Our messages are usually decoded unconsciously from perceived voice and body dynamics. Communication works needs get well filled only when each person A feels enough self-respect and B gets believable mutual respect. Our messages from their partners. 2. The senders and receivers' communication needs don't match. For example, I need to vent and you need to persuade me to do something, cause action. Each person only has 2 or more of the 6 communication needs. Many communications of these needs conflict. First steps to resolve these important conversations are A. Identify your and your partner's current communication needs as teammates, and B. Generally want to value them equally. 3. The sender gives a double mixed message. Their words say one thing and their face, body, and voice imply something else, and something else as I'm able to feel people's energies. For example, I am not hungry. Say loudly in a scowl and growl. The automatic responses to perceived double message are confusion, frustration, and, if habitual, growing disgust of the speaker. Okay. Double message is caused by unaware speaker being controlled by 2 or more opposite subselves. Awareness and mental talk skills and true versus pseudo recovery from psychological wounds can help resolve this over time. Respectful I messages or sessions can help an unaware sender realize they are sending mixed message. See point 10 below. 4. One of both people are distracted. For example, they can't focus or you well. By physical discomfort, pain, thirst, sleepiness, full bladders, headaches, etc. And strong emotions and or noise, flickering lights, motion, smells, temperature, etc. Yet they try important communication anyway. Block 5. Often interrupting. Your partner sends an implied I'm superior message to them. This behavior suggests that the interrupter is probably composing their response without really hearing the speaker interrupting can imply. My current communication needs are more important than yours, and the interrupter has one person awareness bubble. See 13 below. These feel disrespectful and usually promote defensiveness, hurt, resentment, and irritation in the receiver, especially if they rule by a false self. Frequent interrupting is often unconscious and will continue unless the receiver feels enough genuine self-respect to assert and stop it. Alex, I need you to stop interrupting me. 6. Either person makes wrong assumptions about the other intent, needs, meaning, emotions, or message, and or keywords and phrases. This can be called mind reading and may be unconscious or intentional way of discounting the other. I know what you really feel or mean, no matter what you do or say or don't say. This often evokes defensiveness, resentment, counterattack, and or withdrawal and denial. So, in important exchanges, identify and verify key assumptions about your partner. 7. A special case of mind reading happens when the receiver starts talking about the speaker finishes, because they know what the speaker is going to say. Even if it's true, this can feel like a discount. Conversely, the speaker may habitually repeat or be long-winded and receiver gets bored. Option. The receiver may use a meta comment like, when you string so many ideas and comments together without pausing, I get overwhelmed and lose interest in what you're saying. 8. The sender isn't clear on A. what primary needs are causing is on her, and B. current communication needs. The receiver will then probably feel uneasy and confused. A related problem is 9. One or both parents aren't aware of having no focus and or using vague terms and or hand grenade terms or phrases and or that they can use respectful hearing checks to confirm that they are decoding the other person's meaning accurately. 10. Either person may deny or minimize their current emotions to themselves and or their partners. The receiver may feel they should be interested. Please go on. This is fascinating. When they are really bored or distracted, even when they skillfully, such denials usually result in the double messages. Words may lie, bodies and faces, and energy doesn't. If habitual, such denials and deceptions breed confusion and erode trust in the speaker. Kids are especially quick to sense these self-lies. See block 3 above. 11. Frequently withdrawing emotions from personal non-business communications on purpose or unconsciously can leave the receiver unsure of the sender's meaning. The listening may interpret an emotional communication. You are always in your head, as you don't trust me, or you are hiding something. Local or chronic anxiety and distress usually result. The receiver may be doing something that makes the sender feel unsafe in honestly sharing their current feelings, and the sender isn't saying so, and or the sender may be wounded and emotionally numb, and usually this is denying it. Typical male brains are often uneasy, identifying expressive emotions like hurt, fear, anxiety, confusion, guilt, shame, and sadness. If frequently and ignored, withholding emotions hinders effective problem solving and strangles intimacy. Pause, breathe, and stress. What are you aware of now? Do you need a break before studying more of these 30 common communication blocks? Me and you. 12. Focusing too often on the past and on the future can prevent resolving problems in the present. A special case is when someone imagines a future event so vividly they can react to their partner in the present as though the imagined event can already occur. I don't know, you will be late again. This is a sure sign of false self-dominance. Resolving this block begins with becoming non-judgmental aware of it, and now it affects your communication effectiveness and key relationships. Block 13. Habitually focusing on oneself, being self-centered, or steadily avoiding attention will result at best in an unbalanced and shallow communication. At worst, the receiver may A. feel used, ignored, resentful, and B. feel encouraged to ignore you. Awareness and respectful awareness may change this. Seek to maintain genuine versus pretend dutiful two-persons awareness bubbles with each other in important situations. Difficulty doing this indicates unawareness and dominance false self. 14. The sender and or receiver are unaware of the primary needs causing their conflicting surface needs. For example, I want to talk to you. Surface needs may really mean I need to reassure myself you will care about me because you are seemed distant lately. Awareness, clear thinking, patient digging down, and assertion and empathetic listening help unearth semi-conscious current primary needs. Old issues keep returning until the primary discomforts beneath them are acknowledged and filled. 15. Either person can send a be spontaneous paradox. This occurs when one person requests or demands something from another that can only be given spontaneously, like trust, love, interest, acceptance, appreciation, desire, and respect. If the second person tries to comply, the first person may then say, "You are just doing it because I've asked you to, not because you really mean it." The Catch-22. Examples: you never say "I love you." I demand that you respect my wishes. You need to respect the sacrifices I'm making for you. And I need you to know I want you to initiate sex more often. Such paradoxical messages are inherently self-defeating and making things worse. The antidote to this block is mutual knowledge of this paradox, mutual communication awareness. The second person asserting something is "you are asking me to give you something that can only be spontaneous," and both people digging down to identify the underlying relationship needs that are causing this situation. This can't happen unless both people want to A. improve their communication effectiveness as true partners, and B. make this mutual high priority in their busy lives. We are halfway through this collection of common communication blocks. How many of these could you have named before you read this? Are your kids learning to be aware of these blocks yet? Breathe, stretch, and continue. Me, you. Block 16. Generalizing can hinder understanding and effective problem solving. You are always insensitive and inconsiderate. Will probably be received differently than "I am mad and frustration because you are 40 minutes late and I missed my ride." You always or you never can imply the receiver is one down inferior and invite her or him to feel guilty and defend us about many past events as well as the present one. Normal responses to this block are frustration, overwhelm, defending, explaining, shutting down, and or counterattacking, unless the receiver needs to stay superficial. If your self, capital S, is guiding you, mutual respect and focused awareness from the communication skills or meta talk, and assertion may reduce this block. When you often generalize by saying "never" or "always," I feel frustrated, resentful, and my mind wanders. Can you stop generalizing and be more specific? A cooperative response is most likely if the other person is guided by their true self. 17. Preaching, moralizing, lecturing, advising someone with a problem "I'm just trying to help" can erode relationship if the receiver just needs to vent. Be respectfully heard and empathetically accepted versus to be fixed. Uninvited helping can indicate a false self-compulsion to rescue, and may imply "I am superior, I know how to fix your problems and you don't." Sometimes that's true. How common it is for overbusy, unaware parents to fix their children's problems before listening carefully and considering if the best long-range help would be to encourage the child to identify and to fill their own needs. Choosing this option will build a child's competence and self-confidence over time, even if it frustrates them now. 18. Partners not knowing the difference between win-win problem solving and common lose-lose alternatives like fighting, arguing, threatening, avoiding, blaming, explaining, defending, preaching, moralizing, monologuing, hinting, whining, numbing out, defocusing, enduring, imposing, submitting, pretending, and assuming. Know anyone who does any of these behaviors? Are you aware of the behavior's effects on their serenity in relationships? When conflicts don't abate, try asking, "Are we problem solving now or doing something else?" Option. In vexing or recurring situations, try mapping the satisfying communication sequences to learn what you are doing together. 19. Sarcastic, critical versus affectionate name calling erodes the receiver's self-esteem and the odds for cooperative problem solving. "You are stupid, lazy, pacey, nuts, weird, hopelessness, a jerk, spastic, brain dead, etc." hurts. The non-verbal version of this is the look that conveys a massive scorn, disgust, indifference, dislike, and or rejection. If you ever name called and or use such a look, what happens to A. your self-esteem, and B. the receiver's self-esteem, and 2. C. your relationship? Whose current needs get met? Frequent name calling and or sarcasm are sure signs of disabled self, capital S, and a one-person awareness problem. Yes. Block 20. Physical or emotional withdrawal is a powerful communication. The way that "you scare me, bore me, or overwhelm me" imply message "I am inferior" or "I don't care that about you and your needs now. I am superior." Either way, the abandoned partner will probably feel hurt and frustrated, especially if the withdrawer denies and won't talk about leaving. In resolving this communication block, respectfully explore if the abandoned person is unaware of doing something that triggers the withdrawal. Ned, every time I try to say what I need, you interrupt and attack me, so I shut up and leave. 21. Threats or demands versus requests suggest that my current needs are more important than yours. They usually provoke hurt, resentment, defiance, and everyone feels badly about themselves and or the exchange. To change this, the receiver needs to want to use assertive meta talk. For example, with steady eye contact. I feel you are making a demand or threat now. When you do that, I feel resentful, anxious, and combative. I need you to make your point anyway. Another way. 22. One person changed the subject repeatedly and suddenly without asking if their partner is done. This implies that they feel their current needs and worth are superior to their partner's. When this happens, the receiver's responsibilities are to A. Notice the defocusing and how it feels, and B. Be respectful, assertive about finishing their first topic if she needs to. However, you are inferior. Our message is still heard. 23. Hinting or asking leading indirect questions can be okay, or can imply I don't trust one of us to deal directly with my subject. Having a covert communication goal agenda often results in sending double messages which leave the receiver feeling confused, suspicious, discontent, and resentful. See Block 3. Block 24. Habitual lack of appropriate eye contact, speaking hesitantly or constantly apologizing. All imply I feel inferior now. This may be okay if the receiver is comfortable feeling superior. Over time, this pattern promotes loss of respect in both partners, which breeds discounting, poor listening, and effective communication. 25. Habitual non-stop talking will probably condition regular listeners that nothing is expected of them, which is probably what the speaker will get. The jabberer's real communication needs here may be to avoid stressful confrontations, surprises, or intimacy, keep their partner emotional distance, and to avoid uncomfortable thoughts and feelings. 26. The receiving person may become overwhelmed, flooded with information and or reactions. If A, the speaker doesn't pause, and B, if the receiver doesn't assert, ask them to pause, hearing and effective communication will dwindle. This blocks often happens when the speaker is controlled by a soft self who has the emotional level above the ears and needs to vent, lecture, or moralize without caring what the listener's current needs are. Implied in our message, you are inferior to me now. Restated, flooding happens when the sender maintains a one-person awareness bubble. Face to face, the receiver can use a hand gesture like a finger in each ear to convey I'm flooded and I can't hear you now. Please stop and let me process and or respond. 27. Partners don't make enough time to talk thoroughly about important issues when with lives filled with job, parenting, home, upkeep, social and other personal responsibilities. Typical couples, for example, their ruling subselves, put needed communications low in their day's priorities. Lack of effective discussion takes an eventual toll of any relationship, adult and adult-child. We don't just have time. Is false self-deception for communication isn't important or safe enough for me, you, us. Who's responsible in your relationships for making enough time to communicate well? Well, don't forget that most people spend a lot of time on Facebooks and social media, watching TV, playing PlayStation, etc. So their priorities are a little disorganized. 28. Not checking to see if you each got your primary versus surface needs met. In key communication exchanges, especially in major disputes, not checking invites one or both of you assume that the other is satisfied. If she or is not unfilled needs, and distrust in your communication effectiveness will increase. Do you know anyone who routinely asks, did you get what you needed from our talk? That's an excellent question. 29. Arguing with a partner over unconscious gender priority differences. Research shows that typical males and females differ often sharply over which priorities to focus and in an interpersonal situation. For example, average female brains focus on the relationship, cooperation, social harmony, feelings, and understanding, while a typical male brain instinctively focus on logic, information, fixing things, power, and winning. That's a question that I ask myself very often. How do you find common ground on this polarization in a family? That's a great question that I've been asking myself. Block 30. Defensively denying is that you are responsible for any of these communication blocks, or explaining or justifying. Then you make me do that by. This denial is a strong symptom of significant unawareness and false self-wounds. Note that the difference between informing your partner of a communication problem, implication we are equals here, and accusing them I'm superior, and your own blocks. Option 1. 1. Go back over this worksheet and start or highlight the communication blocks you want to become more aware in your relationships, and 2. Consider teaching others in your family to workplace about these blocks and team up to reduce them together. Recap: anything that hinders you in filling your current interpersonal needs is a communication block. This worksheet summarizes 30 common behaviors that hinders or block effective communication between personality subselves and between people. Ineffective communication can be caused by a mix of blocks in me, in you, and between us. Words that's true take time to reduce internal blocks between your subselves first. Pause, breathe, and reflect. Why did you read this article? Did you get what you wanted? If not, what do you need? Who's answering these questions? Your true self or someone else? Which of these blocks stand out for you and why? If you want to reduce any of them, which ones? Reducing starts with intentionally improving your communication awareness. Reduce internal communication blocks by freeing your true self to lead your other subselves. Lesson 1. Use Lesson 2. Tips and suggestions to reduce blocks with adults and kids. Thank you very much for listening to me. Comment, like, subscribe, hit the bell button. For consultations and donations, the email down below. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. Bye.